4 years ago, we took a leap. We built a POS project with an initial investment of 12 lakhs, and it generated a revenue of 1.2 crore this year.
We both had fairly interesting and fun careers. We had seen growth through our entire journey of 9-10 years of working in different companies. When I started working, I always knew that someday I would like to do something of my own. However, through the career, I don't have any idea that was really worth pursuing. I realized and learned from my MBA and from my work experience that whatever business you do, they will require some capital. So I had given myself a timeline of 10 years to work, put my head down, do my jobs well, and build that capital that will be needed one day to start something of my own.
So from what he said, my view was very different. I honestly didn't think that I would start up. I wanted to climb the ladder, because for me, in my mind, leaving a job and then starting up was very risky. You always want to build your own thing, but again, like he said, you need substantial capital and also a substantial risk-taking appetite to quit your job. And I was not the person who thought initially that both can work together.
2022 was a very interesting year of change for us. I was very close to my grandmom and she was on her last days. So as soon as the lockdown opened, Pavika and I, we drove to Pune, which is where my grandmom was, and we spent the last days with her. When we lost our grandmom, I told my parents that you've spent a lot of time taking care of her, so why don't you come and stay with us in Delhi for some time. They said, no, we're not coming to Delhi, there are too many relatives there. But like last year from Pune, how you went to Goa, if you're planning that, we would like to come with you and spend 2-3 days with you. 2 days later, they went back home. Our plan was to make use of the remote jobs. I was in my 9th or 10th year in my corporate career. I was actually loving the work that I was doing, but I was looking for more growth internally or externally. It was rainy season, it was absolutely beautiful, and one day we were heading back home after finishing working from a cafe, not drunk, not under the influence at all, and our car got hit a small pole, and it turned out to be a very big damage. So Goa took its own sweet time, and that 2-week trip became a 5-week trip. And while we were here, we always had the idea of hosting people in the back of our minds. So let's start exploring some properties. This was the first version of our Airbnb hosting journey. When we moved to Goa, we moved into this house with the idea of doing a small version, an MVP of setting up an Airbnb. This was a beautiful 3 BHK villa that we lived in.
Even till then, when we were moving to Goa, I was very excited about the move. But I was excited about the move because we were moving to Goa. Hosting was still like a side quest that we were doing. This felt like the least risky move. Very little additional investment to start a business, I would say. But yeah, I could see that this is turning into a viable idea, which is something that we are also good at.
So when we moved to Goa and we set up our first spaces, which was 2 homestay-like rooms, we had invested about 11 lakh rupees. This includes the rent for the entire year, which was about 6.5 lakhs. We spent about 2 to 3 lakh rupees for additional furnishing. And the third spend that I like to include in this calculation of 11 lakhs is about 2 lakh rupees of relocating from Delhi to Goa. That Pavika doesn't like to include in the calculation. By the time we decided that we would shift to Goa, we were both collectively together on a corpus of about 80 lakhs. We knew that there is a shift coming up. So we knew that if the spend is about 10 lakhs over the next couple of months, we would be able to afford it. We did not have to break into savings or investments at all because we had the monthly paycheck also coming in for 2 people. The experience of hosting was so great from both the guests that we were hosting and from a financial point of view. We broke even in that 1 year. We had essentially created a stream of revenue that was covering our rent, and that was a very big confidence or validation for us to consider taking up another larger property. We both absolutely loved our jobs, loved what we were doing, but we also started loving hosting, and it made a lot of financial, social sense for us. So when you're setting up a space, the only cost that you incur is setting up the physical space. Listing it on various platforms don't come with any upfront cost. However, whenever you generate a booking, from the total amount that a guest pays to the said platform, the host receives total amount minus platform fees as the payout. And if you are a GST registered entity, then you will also receive the GST, which you have to eventually pay to the government. But it is cash that you receive upfront. If you're not a GST registered entity, then Airbnb will collect GST from the guest and will pay to the government directly on your behalf. Now, when you receive that payment, that amount is supposed to be spent further as cash flow for your rent, your operation, your team salaries, your own salaries. So it's very difficult to calculate profitability from one booking because your payments are monthly. Yes, your consumables are for each guest, but those contribute to about 2% of the total cost. To arrive at the profitability, you need to know what is the total revenue you're making, which is an outcome of occupancy rate and average daily tariff. So when you have this, subtract the spends from it and you have the profit. Typically in this industry, calculations are based on a 50% occupancy rate. On 50% occupancy rate, what should be the daily tariff to arrive at break even for the month? Any occupancy rate at the same price, which is more than 50%, is what gives you the profit. We kind of operate at about 30% profitability, but most of that profit goes as reinvestment back into the business because we also want to and we care about growth. A year later, when the MVP had a proof of concept, by then we had reached a corpus of 1 CR. When we moved to Goa, our landlord's daughter had her confirmation, and he very nicely invited us. And he asked us, do you eat chicken? I said yes. Do you eat pork? I said yes. I said everything. I said everything. All meat is okay. So he invited all of us to a small get together. It was karaoke night. So we also sang a song, and the song we chose was Bohemian Rhapsody. The guy on the console, he really enjoyed this song that we sang. The next day we met the DJ, and he turned out to be the guy who had built 3 buildings just behind the house that we were living in. So he was a builder by day, an event planner by afternoon, and a DJ by night.
No one in Goa does one job. People think entrepreneurship happens, say, in cities like Bangalore and Bombay. We came to Goa and we can't point our fingers even now at any person who is just doing one thing. They are using all their resources to their disposal to make sure that there are multiple streams of income.
So then this DJ, who became like very good to us, he messaged again that I want to come and meet you. And this time he said that there's a building in front and the owner is looking for someone to run the building, and I want to recommend you guys. I was like, wow, I am in foreign territory. I have made a friend who's recommending me for someone that I don't know. So I was very grateful already and very thankful. And that's when I came and told Pavika that I have said yes. So let's get recommended and then take it from there.
Like, I've already said yes. Now we'll see what happens. How does that work?
So then from those 2 units, the conversation began for a property with 6 units. The owner's plan was to convert those 6 to 10, and we were excited. We said yes along the journey, all the way till the time of the agreement that was to be signed. And from there, PAUSE project started taking shape.
And it also made financial sense because you're renting the building, right? If you have more units to give on rent, all operational expenses will get divided amongst 10. So your per unit operational cost does come down. So while you are deciding where do you want to eventually pursue your Airbnb dream, we would suggest going and visiting that place, and ideally between the off-season and on-season, spend at least 15 to 20 days there. For example, we came to Goa during the technical off-season, which is July, August, because it rains a lot here. We personally loved it. We stayed in big hotels, we stayed in hostels, and we stayed in Airbnbs. And we saw that almost all of them are operating at a decent occupancy. And the rents that were there, I mean the daily tariffs, that we took as our benchmark. In terms of occupancy rate, we try and maintain between 80 to 85, but maintaining 65 to 70% occupancy is not a hard task in Goa. Now, very honestly, there is now, I want to say no off-season in Goa because we are seeing continued interest, and people are very informed. Like, people know that, okay, when it's the season for Goa, it'll be crowded, it'll be more lively. But when it's monsoons, which used to be the off-season for Goa, there are a lot of activities that you can do. So if you want to come for a slow staycation, that is the time.
A very common mistake that I've seen people make is when they are thinking about setting up an Airbnb, they always quote that season time price is going to be X. But if you're planning your life around season time, which is the easy time, then essentially through the entire year you will only break even. You have to base your calculations completely on off season. If you're doing well or if you're breaking even in off season, then your year will be profitable.
So in terms of revenue, we average around 80,000 to 1.1 lakh per space per month. This is just the revenue that comes. The costs are of course separate. So totaling this up, we are able to do around 1.2 CR in revenue per year from our current spaces.
Over the years, we've been able to build a corpus of about 2 CR between the two of us combined together. About 50% of that is in stock markets, equity, mutual funds. About 20% of it is in the business that we operate to keep the business afloat for a few months. A large portion in about 25% that is in government-linked funds, couple of percentages here and there which are pending receivables from the market that we've kept for as security deposit. We are yet to receive payments from work that we've done. That comes to about 5%. Now we are looking at not so much as building a corpus, but building a brand of Pause Project, allowing and helping more and more people to have a nice holiday stay whenever they're traveling to not just Goa but hopefully other parts of the country also. The idea is to make the business grow and help our team members also grow in their life and careers.
So a lot of people who listen to this or have been listening to our stories can think that it's all serendipity, that our car broke down and we moved to Goa and we were anyway in Goa, so things happened. But again, I will use Ali Abdal for it because I feel luck is a factor of how much you put yourself out there and how many times you say yes, right? Everyone will have opportunities, but if you say yes to those opportunities or if you at least entertain them, your horizon of things that you will be exposed to just widens.
Yeah, you need to put in the work for luck to work. If you're not putting in the time and the effort and the hours, then luck when it presents will not know where to go. So you have to be doing your homework.